I have somebody with me who has been voted by the Elite magazine as top 50 influential Indians. I have Gaurav Wadhwa from Theos. What is the meaning of Theos? Why this name? When the idea struck you? What was the reaction of your parents when you said, I am not going to do medicine and I want to bake the cakes? What was the vision that you had in your mind when you bring a product on the shelf? How many trials do you give it that you succeed?
Are a self-funded bootstrap kind of a setup, so it was always about what kind of funds do we have available.
How much is a brand as a product versus a perception?
It's about going and imagining things in your mind and then kind of putting them out.
What is the big mistake or the major brand mistake that you did? How do you ensure that creativity, that authenticity, that emotion still there in the brand, in the products while scaling up?
Listen boss, you are not Taj, you are Theos, so don't talk like Taj.
How do you gain customer loyalty?
We don't formulate our products keeping a price benchmark or a competition benchmark. We formulate our product basis what we believe in and we make a product.
How will you ensure consistent quality, consistent branding, the experience while you scale? Your selection criteria, what do you look for in people while hiring? If somebody wants to build something like this again, what are the tips you would want to give it to them? It's an institution in itself which he has envisioned. They're going on a market expansion. They should be touching close to 100 crores of revenue by the end of this fiscal. A business that is purely built on ethics. Something that Gaurav prides with, that he has not bribed anybody. Not something very common in India. Jai Hind friends, welcome or welcome back to Revelations with Manas Ji. How many times you have heard that somebody who was about to become a doctor decided to leave the medical seat and then pursue something which is totally different in a career? Well, I have somebody who topped in a school as far as biology is concerned, a good student all the time, cleared a medical seat and went back to the parents and said, sorry, I don't want to become a doctor, I want to bake the cakes. Well, I'm not saying that medicine is not a great profession and baking is great and vice versa, but the essence is the gentleman had the conviction to follow his heart and follow what he believed in at the times when this was not something very common. How he went about it, how he built up a business, a premium bakery brand. This is for those. It is also for the entrepreneurs to understand how you build a brand, how you price a product, what are the challenges that you face, how you hold your ground. I have somebody with me who has been voted by the Elite magazine as top 50 influential Indians. He's also been voted, his restaurant rather has been voted as 9 times in a row the best by Times magazine. No points for guessing. I have Gaurav Wadhwa from Theos. Gaurav, thanks a lot for joining in.
Thank you so much, Manas, and it was a lovely introduction. Just a little correction over there. It's not Time magazine, or I don't want the audience to get it wrong. It's not the Time magazine as yet. It's the Times Food Award, and we've been awarded 9 consecutive years. We've been winning Times Food Award, and very grateful for that.
Thank you for the correction. That's perfectionist Gaurav, always looking for the detail. What was the reaction of your parents when you said, I am not going to do medicine and I want to bake the cakes? When did it struck you that this is what you want to do? And why did you deprive somebody of a medical seat?
My parents' reaction was okay. I mean, they were okay. My extended family, out of concern, was very worried. What is it that I'm trying to do? Will I be able to make it? Will I be, because obviously there was no awareness about this profession. Because in those days, it was more about, jahan mil jaye, wahan chale jao. So it's not that, what you want to do, you will align yourself.
Correct.
I did give a lot of engineering, medicine tests, engineering and these medical college tests and all those things. And I did get through a few of them. But I didn't take it to that stage of reserving a seat, paying a fee for it, and then kind of blocking the seat and then pulling out.
So you're clarifying कि मैंने किसी की seat नहीं ली.
Very true. Okay. I have not taken anybody's seat. No. I haven't taken anybody's seat because I didn't take it to that level. But yes, I did appear. I did got a rank and I was eligible to take that profession forward. This also I did because I wanted to prove my parents, not so much to my parents, but to myself also, that I'm capable of doing that, but it's out of choice that I'm not doing it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So some doctor today is thanking you for not taking up this, you know.
Well, there are many other people also who are thanking me. And I'm myself thanking myself that I'm
Well,
glad I'm not a doctor. I would have been maybe not as good as what I am at my profession right now.
all right, so let's come back to the
Yeah.
profession that you are into,
Yeah.
right? Uh, now, this is a question coming from my son, you know, that what is the meaning of Theos? Why this name? When the idea struck you?
Theo means God. When I was studying my hospitality management, I did come across that Theo also features as the name, scientific name of the chocolate tree. This Theobroma cocoa is basically the scientific name of the tree or the plant from where we get cocoa.
Okay.
So when I was studying about chocolate in my career in 2001, I came across this name, and it was very exciting. So I was like, whenever I would want to open something of my own, I will definitely call it Theo. And then Theo basically got converted into Theos, and that's how you see it today. Yeah.
All right. So
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
is when you. So this was like in your college, you started dreaming about it and planning over it.
Yeah. I was very, very clear about what I wanted to do right from the very start of my college journey. Now, this is something which has been a little different for me. I did not discover what I wanted to do. I knew what I wanted to do, and then I started to study about it and do my education in that field. And so when I meet kids these days and I see that they are still exploring when they are 23, 24, 25, and they are kind of, they always have this answer that we are exploring whatever would work for us, we will go in that direction. Which is good, fair enough, and all. It's good to explore, but it's also very important. Or maybe, for somebody like me who had limited means, I never had those many number of years to give myself to explore and kind of see where it is going and all. For me, there was no other choice. I had to kind of speed it up.
What was the vision that you had in your mind when you set this journey? When you said, okay, fine, I'm going to be on my own, responsible for my destiny.
So one of them was to be able to give common man access to good quality products. Then the second vision was to outdo hotels. I don't know why. I mean, I don't know whether I should be saying this or not, but I always wanted to kind of break those walls and kind of break those restrictions, that this is the best that India can produce. uh, I mean, I got a little bit of an exposure outside India. So what I saw there was a huge gap between what the West world was doing and what we were doing. And probably for India, what was the benchmark was not even the starting line for other countries. So I always thought that I could, or we could, push that benchmark line forward and take that risk. When we started Theos, even then the kind of product that we had put on the shelf was neither inspired, influenced, or motivated from anywhere. It was, I have never done that. I mean, I don't know, maybe I don't know whether, I'm not saying I'm right or wrong. I have authority to say that I am right here. But I have never done that. I have never ever, kind of gone out, seen that, okay, this product is doing well, so we must also do that. Now,
How
to a
do you go
lot
about
of,
it then?
now I'm coming to that.
Yeah.
Now, to a lot of people, who do not have that much of knowledge about this particular trade, I may just sound fake, because they may question me. Oh, you are also doing croissant. This one's also doing croissant.
Correct.
Well, the point is that that one did not discover, or kind of is not the father of croissant. Neither am I. It's like, ABCD exists. The rules of the language exist. We make our own sentences, and we make our own, we have to make our own phrases and everything out of it, right? So similarly, no one is sitting over here has discovered Urdu. There are like people now, Gulzar has his own style, and Javed Akhtar has his own style. So similarly, but when it comes to using a particular word, and the meaning of that particular word remains the same, whether Gulzar would use it or whatever, Javed Akhtar would use it. So similarly, for us also, the science remains the same. The baking sciences remains the same. The building blocks of baking science remains the same. The backbone of baking remains the same. And that's the reason why one must go through formal education to understand that what is a laminated pastry, what is a rich cake, what is a chiffon cake, what is what are the technicalities of everything.
Trust me, I don't know any one of them.
Yeah,
The
and
chiffon, whatever you said.
now to kind of use that, adapt it, and create something out of those building blocks only is the expression of creativity, wherein we stand different from each other. And that's the space that I am talking about. That's what it is.
Let's deep dive a bit into this, and I
Yeah.
want to understand this very clearly, because maybe somewhere, as who is not very old in the journey of content creation, I'm relating what you're
Yeah.
saying with
Yeah.
this, and I'm
Yeah.
trying to get more and more educated on this.
Yeah.
When you started, um, of course, you had pineapple pastry, and
Yes.
so did many other shops.
Yes.
Why somebody bought it from you?
Okay, so
What's the USP?
yeah, so here we are talking about something very specific, and great that we are talking about something very specific. So we are talking about a pineapple pastry.
Hang on.
Now,
Let me just add in there. I am using pineapple pastry as an example. I'm saying basically you got into a space which, on the face of it, to a consumer like me, is a commodity space,
yeah.
right? How did you build a niche into that, or
Yeah.
how
So I'll
you
break
become a
it down
premium
for you.
brand? Yeah.
I'll break it down for you. Now, see, the thing is that, and I'm glad that you brought that example, because I think this will be a revelation for a lot of people. So there can be two ways to go about making a pineapple pastry. One is I do my research. I go to say 5 patisseries who are doing best pineapple pastry, get a pineapple pastry from each one of them, break it down, taste every element, and kind of form my product or formulate my product on those lines, because these products are accepted, these products are selling in the market, so this is a benchmark, and we must also calibrate ourselves to the same benchmark.
And probably you'll get the recipes also for them.
So recipes wise, like I told you, that if you are educated enough, or if your education has been in the same field, it won't be a rocket science for you to break it down.
Yeah.
So when you kind of go layer by layer, you will be able to break it down and understand, okay, they have used pineapple in it, a fresh one or a canned one, or they have used this much of pineapple, that's the cream, that's the ratio, and you will be able to replicate the product for yourself or for your brand. I never did that. Instead, what I did was, what kind of pineapple pastry will I enjoy? What kind of pineapple pastry do I love? And I started working towards creating something that would work for my palate and for myself as a chef. And created this pineapple pastry, which we kept it on the shelf. And now, but obviously, this has a relatable factor to a lot of people who have tasted pineapple pastry other places. But at the same time, this is giving them something different from the others, which is a big risk.
And how do you
Now,
know that
here,
you're getting something different? Because it's something that you like, but how do you know it's giving something different?
yeah, because why is it different is because it's not modeled on anything that I have seen or experienced before. It's something which is expression of my imagination. Like if an
It's
MF
your
Hussain,
IP.
if an MF Hussain would sit down to paint something on a canvas, there are two ways to do it. You have many sketch artists. There are many people who make replicas of paintings, don't they? So, but for an MF Hussain, what he's doing is he is bringing his expression or his imagination onto the canvas through his brush. And this is very exciting. At the same time, you don't know, there are many a times when you kind of put it out on the canvas and you realize that this is not very different from others. because sometimes your imagination is also kind of influenced with what you have grown up eating, what you have seen, and what you have tasted. So it happens all the time, but then it's very organic. But what I'm happy about is that it's a true expression of what I like. And Theos, even till date, is an expression of what kind of stuff I believe in, I like. Yes, there is a bit of a consumer sensibilities, consumer choices, which are respected, but the product is not largely modeled or made with that thought in the mind.
So it has never happened that you went to a nice pastry and you were walking on some streets where you tasted something nice and you said, "Hey, this is really nice. Let me go and replicate this."
It does happen. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But when it comes to replicating it, replicating does not involve me getting that particular product to my kitchen and then breaking into it and then replicating it. How the process happens is, like, for example, in my recent tour to Italy, I discovered a lot of Italian patisserie products which are towards the Naples side. So, like a fogliatella or a baba or rum and all those things. Now, again, these are not the products which have been created by a particular patisserie or a particular pastry shop by a particular chef. Fogliatella, Baba Ram, all these exist. They have been recorded in the books with what we read. There is a lot of reading material that's available. So I go down, I start researching on it, I start reading about it, I start understanding that product, how it was invented, who invented it, what was the objective behind creating that particular product. And from there you pick it up and then you kind of start working towards it. Obviously this involves a lot of recipe research also on the way. Then you kind of come across the first draft of that product. Sometimes the first draft is bang on and you are like, I have cracked a great product. Sometimes you start comparing it to what the other product that you had tasted, is it at par, better, or not good enough?
But then this is food. I mean, your better may not be my better.
Very true. But I am running a store which is run by me. So, and I do understand that in out of 100 people who visit Theos, not everybody would like it because not everybody is aligned with my taste buds. But at the same time, I just don't know how to make food or something for the other person which would please him, because I can't understand the taste palette of another person. I can only take the reference from my own taste buds.
So you're making a very interesting point. And if I had replaced pastries with any product, essentially what you're saying as an entrepreneur, right? That, okay, I can't please all the customers, but I'm going to deliver what I think is the best product, what is best for me, right? Without not by disregarding your customer, but not getting overwhelmed with that, right? Is that a right way to put it?
Yeah, but having said that, it's not coming out of stubbornness. It's not, it's not about you being stubborn about what you feel is right. It's giving value to the kind of research that you have done, or the kind of work that you have put in behind creating that particular dish. So, and that's like an ongoing process, and that's
Is there a
how.
litmus test that you know that today you are stubborn and tomorrow you're not? I mean, have been a situation that, okay, fine, I think I went stubborn there. My team came with a great idea of a great product, and because this is my show, I think I was stubborn. How do you reflect and how do you draw that line? What is
No. So it's the process involves all of us. So
okay?
first of all, it's not about that my team would rarely go on a very different track from what I am kind of thinking and all those things, because that's how we kind of work together and we align with each other. Essentially, what happens is that, like, there are versions to it. So we come out with version 1 and we come out with version 2 and we come out with, then like, we kind of keep improving or updating that product also. Imagine maybe a decade back, or maybe a decade and a half back, there was no concept of a iPhone or a touch screen or something like that. Today you have a reference point of a touch screen and you can further compare, okay, this touch screen is better than that touch screen, or this touch screen has this limitations, I can create a higher version or a better version. But imagine, how did it happen for the first time? How did the touch screen come to life for the first time? It has definitely taken birth from someone's imagination. That's how it is. So it's about, you know, going and imagining things in your mind and then kind of putting them out. And sometimes you come out with a success, sometimes you don't, and then that's the journey about it.
So let me ask one thing. You know, when you bring a product on the shelf, how many trials do you give it that you succeed? I mean, so is it like you try 10 products and they all are smash it,
Yeah.
or what's the hit ratio like? How many
Well,
times do you fail if you fail?
so with experience you fail less, and that's where you kind of, you need to be experienced enough to be able to prejudge the faults before committing that. Whenever I'm kind of moving ahead with the trial, I keep reminding myself that any doctor or any scientist, whenever they are making something, like if we are making, say, a spaceship and it has to go to moon or whatever is there, do they get many trials? You know, do they have the option of, okay, I'm trying something, it may not work? So with the kind of precision and responsibility that they do their trials and they formulate a product, I do walk into the kitchen with that kind of kind of a responsibility. But at the same times, yes, it does take a couple of times to kind of get it right, because here people would want to see and buy.
Yeah,
There
it should
they
be in writing.
know
Yeah,
and they buy. So people, I mean,
that you
oh,
got it right. Yeah.
it's kind of, lot of products surprise you also. So it's been almost about 3 months that we've been working on that product. I'm still not satisfied, so it's still not there on the shelf. So
Not
till the time I'm not kind of totally convinced that yes, this product will definitely be something that people, what they expect from us after tasting a tres leches, that we would come with a 2.0 version. Like, I don't want to create a, they say, the next
sequel movie,
episode or
like
next sequel or prequel, which is
not working out.
less entertaining than the previous one but would sell on the backing of the previous one.
So you're a maverick that who wants to improve with every
Hope
gun that
so,
he fires,
hope
right?
so, hope so.
God bless your team.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you build it up? How much is a brand as a product versus a perception?
Well, as much as everybody would want to have it this way, that the brand is as good as the product, most of the times, unfortunately, it is not like that. But why it is not like that is not necessarily the fault with the brand. It could also be your expectations from a particular brand. So now, when you walk into a place with zero expectation, trust me, everything's gonna wow you because you walked in with no
Right.
expectation. Let me give you an example. Back in the day when we opened up our Sector 41 outlet, and it is next to a village, and it's something which has got, in those days it used to have cows and buffaloes parked at the entrance, welcoming guests and all those things.
Quite exotic.
And, the entrance was something that would be a big put off. But the moment you opened those doors and walked into Theos, it was a different world altogether. So, my idea was that when you walk in with no expectations, and the moment you
Was it a
open the
deliberate
door
move?
and you walk into this whole store, and then the food, then the other things, then the service, and then everything on top of that is like kind of taking your journey from one level to the other, you are surely bound to walk out happy.
So it was a deliberate move too?
It wasn't a deliberate move. No, it wasn't a deliberate move. Like I said, that we are a self-funded, bootstrap kind of a setup. So it was always about what kind of funds do we have available, how much can we do in what we have, what is available, what options were available, and making the best use of whatever best option we could figure out.
So when did you realize that, you've arrived? in a sense that this is it, I become a brand? I mean, was it like,
No, not even till now. I don't think so. I mean, I would ever want to tell myself that I've arrived and this is it. No, no, not at all.
did you have the moments like, okay, fine, so many people are waiting for my stuff, they're opening for the store to
No,
open, so this is
no,
my
not
day,
at
and
all.
I'm
Not at
there.
all. Not at all. I feel that, yes, we've come a long way, but I think there is a lot more that we can do, we must do, and we have potential to do for.
What is the most essential part of building a brand or trusted brand
Uh,
component?
the trust that people have or they put in you, the kind of expectations with which they come to you, the kind of emotions that are attached with the company, with your brand, and the care that you would want to give to everybody who is associated with your company or your brand is very, very important. And I think brand is nothing but if you have the honesty or the kind of uh, the want in you to live up to the trust that people have in you,
Is it about consistency?
that comes along with it. It's brand basically is more to align the company than to make sales. When it comes to a brand as such, so brand is more of a responsibility of the owners of the company than it is a selling point for them. Because what happens is, it's like, let's understand it this way, that when you are a no one, you can walk around freely, do whatever you want to do. But when you are a known figure or when you are a celebrity, you need to be very careful about your actions. You need to be, you need to kind of manage yourself. Similarly, when you are just another company, you have that freedom to take your chances of, or kind of, not delivering at times. Maybe you are not feeling okay, then you may just close the shop at say 8 o'clock and wind up that day. But when you are a brand, no matter what the situation is, you need to behave like a brand. So it's more that way.
So you behave and you become a brand, or you become a brand or you behave?
It's always you behave and you become a brand. So this is another learning that I have had, and I really keep it with me, is that I was told that uh, I mean, in early on when I was switching from Taj to Theos, everything that I was kind of putting out and all, and I was writing and I was talking to people, I was explaining them what kind of energy and vision I have, and everybody would tell me, hey, listen, boss, you are not Taj, you are Theos. So don't talk like Taj. For a moment, I used to always feel that maybe, but what I got corrected on was, or what I feel one should do is, I told everybody that I need to behave like Taj from today to become a Taj. It cannot happen when I will become a Taj. So you do what you have to do from the beginning and then you reach where you have to reach. There is never such a situation that, okay, I will start doing this when I will reach there. It doesn't happen.
So I totally respect that, but doesn't it sound, or does it sound a bit arrogant at times? And what's the line between arrogance and confidence in that case, or aspirational?
No, so it's not about arrogance, it's about taking yourself seriously. Like, just to, like, okay, I will walk like this when I will become a celebrity, or I will dress like this when I will become a celebrity. I always dress like this, I always walk like this, no matter whether I'm a common man or a celebrity. Now, this is the difference which is there. I mean, you do get polished, yes, I agree. But polishing also can happen only on a gold or a silver or a diamond, You can't be a, like, how much can you polish a clay pot or whatever, You cannot beyond a point. So the substance has to be there in you, and then you can polish it. So that DNA has to be there.
So I want to tell this to all the viewers. As I'm listening to you, I'm trying to replace every bakery jargon in my mind with something very general. So when you say pastry, I decipher it as product. When you say uh, creativity, I think about the thought process. Because that's the best way for me to absorb and relate to whatever you're saying. And I hope people are also able to derive that value out of this, because when I was thinking about conversing with you, it was not about just bringing out the best of the chef and best of the big. I really wanted to understand what it goes beyond, building something or making out something which is brand, and what is brand in the first place, because it's at times very hyped, abused or misused word also.
Yeah.
Anyway, what if I have an anniversary or a birthday cake and I have ordered a customized cake and it goes wrong at the 11th hour, and
Okay.
somebody's just carrying it outside and it topples? How do you manage?
Yeah.
Did it ever happen with
Uh,
you? And how did you manage this?
Well, again, fortunately, very, very rarely, I cannot recall any such instance wherein we have faltered to that extent. There have been instances wherein, it's been challenging to deliver, or it has, there has been a delay, but cancellations or last minute problems have been less. But yes, we do try to, whenever, if there has been a customer and also if there has been any issue, we've tried to kind of cover up as much as it's possible in that kind of time and all. It's a very sensitive kind of a business
Because
that
it's an
way.
emotional product.
Yes, it's a very, very sensitive kind of a business when it comes to that. So we deal with it in a very sensitive way also. So it's kind of the whole brief has been that, like the ornamental kitchen has been briefed in a way that they know that we are making a product for someone's special occasion. So uh, we can't be casual about it. But yes, there have been times when things have not been to guest expectation, or there has been a communication gap. And as we are growing with the brand and we're with our presence, with more people coming in our team, the possibilities of that happening more is also increasing. But at the same time, we are increasing our kind of ability to deal with that problem, or kind of slow down and make the whole process a little more in control than doing something which is all out and not caring about people at all.
So let me dwell a bit more on this. You can have standard operating procedures. You can try and train people, best trainers or whatever. You you mentioned that this is your love, or this is your you make products what you think are the right in the manner you think that they're right. Now, when you scale up, how do you ensure that you don't lose that soul, that your um, desired outcome when you have to scale at, and when you
Yeah.
expand and scale? How do you ensure that creativity, that authenticity, that emotion still there in the brand, in the products, while scaling up?
So there are stages which are there. Like first is that at the production stage, the product is still in our hands. We are still in control of the product. From production to dispatch, in between, we have a checkpoint. So the first level of filtration happens between the dispatch and the production. Suppose you have a miss there. Then the second checkpoint comes from the dispatch to the receiving part at the outlet level. That's another crucial checkpoint. So a lot of mistakes are kind of filtered out or identified at that stage. Now from there, the next stage is wherein we have the outlet level inspection and audits, and there are managers who check their products, and also that's the third level of filtration which is there. And yes, there are times when we falter at all three levels, and the mistake travels down to the customer. Then of course there is a complaint that's raised. Now once the complaint is raised, that is when we revisit all the checkpoints. How did it miss the outlet level inspection? How did it miss the receiving level inspection? How did it miss the dispatch level expansion checkpoint? And how did it happen in the first place? And then corrective action. So basically, you need to put your filters at the right spot or the right place, and try. So mistakes happen at all the levels. we try to control it or contain it within our domain before it travels down to the customers. So that's how we kind of keep a check on that.
But Gaurav, that's like standardizing your supply chains and you're
Yeah.
standardizing your backends. But do you think that you can be as emotionally and your soul can be as involved when you scale up compared to when you open your first store? Or the first store is like your first love, you don't forget it.
Well, we are emotionally equally invested, but the perception could have changed. I'll tell you how. And it's changing with time. Back then, it was not that difficult for us that suppose if you walk into my store and you say, Gaurav, I want 10 of those cupcakes, but can I have them in a lighter red color instead of the the deep red color that you have? The answer was yes. Why? Because I was working on a small oven and I could bake those 10 cupcakes specially for you. Today, that's not the situation. I have a batch production. So I need to bake 500 cupcakes or maybe 5,000 cupcakes in one lot. I cannot afford to put 10 cupcakes specially for you in that particular color. So that way, that little change which has happened is there, but that also we are trying to control it to the maximum by putting in our facility is designed to take up such orders also. But they are now coming at a little premium cost because they are costing us time, attention, other than our routine work. So that little change is there, which is accepted. But other than that, we try to be as accommodating, as customer friendly, as emotionally invested as we were earlier also.
So so I
And
get
we
it.
were
I mean,
driven by rules even then. So, like I said, that it's not, we are not here and we have changed a lot of things. We never did those things in the first place when we were nobody to be able to stand here today. So that value system has not changed.
so Gaurav, how do you deal when, especially when you're an established brand, how do you deal with copycats, and how do you at the first place, how do you differentiate between people who are trying to learn and emulate or copycats? Do you feel insecure? I mean, is there a recipe secret or a trade secret that
No,
you
not
have,
at all. Not at all.
or maybe
Um,
not now? Did you feel it anytime?
Never, never. Because, like I said, that uh, a Javed Akhtar will never be insecure of Gulzar, or a Gulzar will never be insecure of Javed Akhtar. Because I'll tell you why. Because they have the knowledge and the deep understanding of the craft, and they know how many permutation combinations are and or how many possibilities are there. So similarly, I know my craft deep down to the level of detailing that I wanted to kind of have for me to be not insecure of anyone. So I am not limited to a few recipes. Theos is not limited to a few products. We know how to create magic using the same flour, butter, sugar, and cream in many different ways. So we have surprised people in the past. We are surprising them even now, and we will keep surprising them for all their life or till our life. And that's how kind of you work. So insecurities, there is no recipe secret. In fact, I have been a trainer for the longest time. I have taught many students. We do have people, in fact, now at the new facility, we have people coming in from a lot of colleges, people coming in from competition brands also to come at Theos and learn.
And you don't
And
have separate rooms, quarantine rooms for them?
no, nothing like that. So they are pretty much into the system and they are doing what everybody else
And you
is
know it
doing.
very well that they're going to go back and replicate or take
They
this
can
knowledge.
replicate the product, they can replicate the recipe, but the business is not run on products and recipes. It is run on a lot of Lot of it's like a combination of a lot of right things working together. So only getting two right things will not put everything right. And to put everything right, they need to work like me. And if they work like me and put everything right, then they deserve it as much as I do. So why should they not get it? They should also get it. And if they have reached where I am, I will reach at the next level, which is great, you know. Good.
Awesome, awesome. I
Yeah.
mean, believe me, this is like one of the most secured statements that
Yeah.
I'm listening to, because otherwise, suddenly people like to say, "Oh, it's a trade secret, or it's something that we can't disclose." And I'm like, okay, maybe there's a lot,
Yeah.
and you're saying that there is nothing. I
Nothing.
mean, it's like it's not just one part; it's like a lot of moving parts. They have
So
to be
my
together.
father was not a chef. I don't come from a lineage. I don't come from a family wherein my family has anybody in my family, nobody in my family has ever been a chef or has been from this industry ever. Uh, how did I learn? I learned everything over here from teachers, from books, from the documented, recipes, or so many other things which are there. Like I have learned, then learning should be available to everyone. I mean, why should I keep it with me? I have not discovered anything. I did not discover vanilla sponge. I did not discover a particular cake. I still haven't. Yes, there have been a lot of permutation combinations, or the way I write or the way I kind of express myself is my own, which is very difficult to steal if you look at it that way, because it's like how you walk, how you talk. you know a lot of people can copy it, but that does not make me lose mine.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot
Yeah.
of clones, but there's only one Amitabh Bachchan.
Yeah.
Your box or your brand, there's no brand or punchline that I see, on your box or any of your products. Is that deliberate, or if there was a punchline that you wanted, a brand line that you want people to resonate with, have you ever thought about it? Why
uh,
that's not there? Like Nike says, just do it. Why don't you say just eat it, or just savor it, or whatever?
I I don't think so. Even if I put a punchline, would probably add any value to our name, because our name is still something that people are puzzled about and kind of brings in that kind of conversation point. So we are good at that. But yes, there is again layers of experience which is there. So with the box, we don't want to reveal everything on the box and the carry bag, and we don't want to kind of take your expectation from here to here by just looking at the box, and then when you open the box you are already at a high expectation level only to be disappointed with the product.
So it's in a way kind of playing safe also,
Yes, of course.
huh?
It's kind of a build up.
Good thought, good thought. How do you build loyal customers? How do you gain customer loyalty?
How do you build loyal customers is only and only by kind of being very honest with your product, being very honest with your pricing, being very responsible with the trust that they put into you, and kind of valuing them as you would value yourself when you go as a customer to maybe another place. So it's kind of putting them, putting yourself in their shoes, and like kind of gauging what would please them, what would make them happy, and then delivering on that point.
There are companies which maintain the price and decrease the size,
Yeah.
and there are companies which increase the price.
Yes.
Why, and what do you do, and why do you do it?
Portion control and calibrating pricing in comparison to portion is nothing wrong. That's the right way to do it, because you do move with time. There was a time when people were eating a lot of desserts. Sugar was popular, and the appetite for it was more. So there was a trend of large size pastries. You yourself have really loved a 7 layer chocolate cake. In today's time, it's very heavy, expensive for a lot of people. So moving from a 7 layer cake to something which is like a 3 layer or a 2 layer cake is nothing wrong, provided you do the price correction also alongside. So if you take the 7 layer cake to a 3 layer cake and keep the prices same, if your raw material price is not gone up, if kind of there is no inflation that has come into that particular category. And if you're still charging a premium just because you've become a brand now, is not the right thing to do. In fact, it's quite the opposite. As you become a brand, it is your responsibility to try and negotiate better with your vendors, because now you're doing volume purchase and pass on that benefit to your customers and become more and more affordable. Not because you want to do more sales, but because you want to compensate for charging them a bit more when you were incapable of pricing your products in the right way. So it's kind of that. It is like, for me, it's like that.
Say there's a cold coffee which I love, and there could be a pastry or any product, right? So the cold coffee costs $400, right? How much is the money which goes into the raw material or the production cost overall, which can cover expenses and so on? And what? How do you decide it is that 400 rupees is the right price and not 450 rupees and not 350 rupees? And for me as a brand, I can sell this coffee for 400 rupees or maybe 800 rupees also without dipping my sales.
Okay. Very interesting question. And again, it is something that we don't formulate our products keeping a price benchmark or a competition benchmark. We formulate our product basis what we believe in, and we make a product. Pricing of that product is an organic or a very mechanical kind of an activity which eventually leads us to the price. I'll break it down for you and I'll tell you how it works. So first you make a product. So all the raw material that goes into making that product contributes to the food cost of that product. Then all the other things, overheads and all that go into creating that kind of an ecosystem for us to be able to make that product, goes into something called the cost of goods sold, which we know in as a COGS, which is there. Then from here, now I have a saleable product. From here, it goes on to the stores, and at the store, to keep that product, to have people to sell them, the store level rentals and all those things, they contribute towards the store level expenses. All these add up and eventually gives us, like, what is our break even point. Like, if we sell this product at this price, then we are not making any money, we are not losing any money. From here on, what kind of a profitability we want to attain is what is added into it, which is generally not something which is on a very high side, and it is generally about a 7%, 8%, sometimes 10,
That's a profit
11%
margin
sort
you're
of a
talking about
thing.
in your industry?
Like, I'm talking about the net, whatever, I
Okay.
mean, you would want to keep, and accordingly you reach a landing price. Now, this is a book value or the price that is on the paper. Then we look at the product, again look at the product, and look at it from the point of view of a customer. Okay, I'm buying this for 400. I'm buying this for 400. Will I pick it up for 400? Is it too cheap for 400 or is it too expensive for 400? Rarely we get the answer that it's too cheap for 400. Generally, most of the time it is like, that inside duk 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 duk, that 400 mein koi nahi lega isko. But that is when you kind of taste it, and then you kind of believe in your product and you say, nahi yaar, 400 mein people will buy and this will fly off. So if you have that conviction, then that product goes on. If you don't have that conviction and if you feel, then you start strategizing that, okay, this is like a 450 ml serving at 400. Let me tweak it to 350 and price it at 350.
Do you do that? Do you
Yeah, we
strategize
do
like
that
this?
at times.
Do you
We
also
do
do a
that.
competitive survey that how much a Starbucks would be costing?
No,
Or
I mean, I don't do that. And because honestly speaking, it's never a situation of comparing apples to apples or oranges to oranges, unless and until I have access to what they are doing and how they are doing, which I don't. I don't have the access to their recipes. I don't have the access to their procedures and processes and their whole, cogs and everything. So how can it be a comparison of
so you will
apples to
play and
apples and
strategize with your
oranges?
own product, but you can't get into that.
Yeah, it's very difficult because it's like, and I feel that those who actually do that, they can go completely wrong, and they can really cause a lot of losses to their company, because they are actually going, I mean, there are a lot of, yes, there are times when we do get surprised. Like, very recently, I would not want to name, but they're in this quick commerce space. We saw that, Vietnamese cold coffee was being sold for $90 in a tumbler, and with all the accessories and everything, and delivery coming in 10 minutes, and also it does kind of surprise you that how, what is it that we are missing out on, or why is it that my raw material or my coffee is coming so expensive to me, and is it not coming expensive to them? But then if you kind of look back and you kind of correct everything, and then eventually you reach a conclusion that no, nothing's wrong with us. It's just that a lot of people are selling it at an underprice because they want to do market acquisition for now, and later they would hike it up.
So Gaurav, good you brought that point, because I wanted to ask you that there are people, or there you mentioned the case of 90 rupees Vietnamese coffee. By the way, even I tried that,
Yeah.
So, but yeah, coming back to it, so there are people who are burning cash, or the businesses who are burning cash, whereas correct me if I'm wrong, you have never discounted your product. At least
We've
I have
never.
never been a beneficiary,
We have never.
right?
We've
And
never.
I don't think that you have given any kind of a discount on any of the platforms also.
Yeah, we've never done that. We've
Why?
never done that.
And people who are doing to scale up their business and who are following the uh, cash burn strategy, if that's the right word to put it, what's your take on that?
I mean, if it's working for
I
them,
mean, you were bootstrapped,
it's
sorry, but you
if
were bootstrapped
if
and you did
it's
not
if
do
it's
it.
working for them, it's fine. I mean, we never factored that kind of a margin in to be able to discount or deep discount our products and all. Had if we would have factored that in, probably we also would have. So, and I believe that I mean, I generally, it's again a very personal thing. If I go to a store and I see something is discounted by 50% or 70%, I tend to question that, even while after selling it at a 50% or a 70% off, they still must be earning some money on it, which means how much of a markup have they already done? So it kind of tends, I mean, it kind of, I question that pricing strategy only. So with us, I have already given out to you that how do we price our products. So we don't price our products in such a way to leave us with a lot of bandwidth to be able to discount our products. Now, when it comes to, I don't know, that's the situation right now, and I hope it always remains like this, because I think it's also a lot of less brain work. It's a lot of less hassle, it's a lot of less confusion. Like how over 15 years of us being in business, not 15, 18 years of us being in business, by now, like, that okay, at Theos there will never be a discount. So you kind of walk in and you can freely pick up whatever you want and all, and you're not kind of very sure about the product, you're sure about the price, you're sure about everything. But if we would have been kind of, so if you walk into the store, you go back with a 10% discount, your wife walks in, maybe she takes a 15% discount, and then you are discussing Theos at home that who is better at negotiations between you and your wife. We are not averse to it. I'm not saying that we would never do that. If we would ever do that, again, there would be a very well thought of a strategy behind it, or maybe we may by then have some money to kind of fund this kind of a discount and run a scheme, which we don't have as of now.
Okay, so you better let me know when you have it, because I'll
Yeah,
feel cheated if I
I
don't
hope
come to know
soon.
about
I
it,
hope
right?
soon.
So in a product like cake, you don't mention ingredients.
Okay.
There's no label out there, right? I mean, it was an icing cake. How do you ensure consistent quality communication to the customer and experience, especially when you're going to scale?
So, like I said, that the product goes through a lot of inspection, and in the inspection, it's not only inspection of the taste or the quality or the weight or the weights and measures or the price or the raw material. It is also the inspection of the safety. So in safety, there is an inspection of foreign particle. Now, foreign particle mentioned over here could be a hair strand, it could be a piece of aluminium foil, it could be a piece of cling wrap. And we do come across instances, despite of all precautions, sometimes these things do get inside a product which uh, reaches the customers. On that level also, we are trying to take the help of the technology, and we are installing like metal detectors or foreign particle detecting machines in our manufacturing unit. So our products will pass through those machines, and we should be able to detect if at all there is any foreign particle, and we'll be able to filter those products out. Right now it is sensory, like we do sensory evaluation and we do random testing. So basis these two, we are able to filter out maybe 99.5% of the problem is solved, but the rest 0.5% can only be solved if we kind of put these machines in place which would detect out those problems. So safety is very important. First level of safety comes from using the right kind of raw material which has got no harmful ingredients or any ingredient which can cause harm. The second level of safety would be using the right kind of techniques, because sometimes reactions are there. Like me being a science student, I can understand that there can be nothing wrong in it, but there are reactions. Like for example, when we are cooking with wine, if we don't cook off the alcohol, then it can create a lot of issues in your stomach. So at times there's nothing wrong, you use the finest quality wine, you made your finest dish, but the wine had the alcohol left in it, you did not cook it off well. Eventually whosoever will consume it will be having a tough time, and then they'll be like, you served us something which was stale, and I got uh, whatever stomach issues and all those things. But so these are few things, but at the same times there are a lot of allergies which people are not aware about, and sometimes these allergies are from strange ingredients. Like I know a lot of people who have allergy to lettuce, there are a lot of people who have allergy to cucumber. So you go out, you eat a salad, and you have kind of had a lot of cucumber, and then you are kind of being very uneasy, and you think that the restaurant has done something wrong. Not necessarily, because then these are the situations in which we see and we test the batch, and then we see if how many people have reacted in the same way, or has there been a widespread reaction or something like that. Then of course these are things that you have to kind of deal with, because you are in this business, so it's your responsibility also to kind of ensure customer safety and food safety. It's your basic obligation.
We all are living in a world where artificial intelligence and technology is rapidly disrupting the
Yeah.
status quo. Are you leveraging it? And if you can share how food industry can leverage it in terms of maybe better customer reach, quality, or the way you're doing it. Can you share a bit on that?
We are using this tool on how much should we manufacture. Like we had Mother's Day a couple of days back. Now I have about 9-10 outlets which are there, then we've got home deliveries happening, and then we've got takeaways. How do we estimate how much to manufacture? And we've got over 350 SKUs in patisserie and another 250 plus SKUs in the cafe section. How much of pre-prep of what to keep? Now I don't know how many people will be visiting us, I don't know what is it that they will be ordering. Imagine I tell you to host a evening, you don't know how many guests are coming, you don't know what they would be eating. Now host an evening, and you will be like, I don't know anything, how what do I do? So that's our situation every single day.
How
we
do
don't
you,
know we don't know how many people will come, we don't know
and that too with
like
products having less shelf life?
yeah. So data really helps us in kind of making those estimations of what product we should make more, what is it that we should make less, how much should we make. So we are using that tool only to that point, one.
So for your
Second, we
sales
are using
forecasting and your inventory planning.
forecasting, inventory planning, and all. Then we are also using data to kind of help us make uh, marketing strategies. Like, for example, if a certain product did not do well in the last 1 month, uh, we probably look back and see whether the product has any problem with it, or was there any visibility issue, or do we have to kind of, or does it need any kind of a push? So AI and data analysis and the tech really helps us kind of make these strategies which are there.
So if I want to summarize out here, sales forecasting, inventory planning,
Yeah.
and product success measurement is something that you for which you leverage data a lot
Yeah.
and tools to analyze around it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now you mentioned a point where you're very particular about your business that you don't know how much you will sell, how much you will manufacture. So
Yeah.
so I want to come with a very important aspect which is very close to my heart is about the wastage in the food industry.
Yeah.
Right? Because I try when I go for a meal outside. Say if I'm having a idli and so I'll take the sambar out and I'll say that please take it out and take it back. This is not touched.
Yeah.
Don't throw it.
Yeah.
You know, please let us know that when do hotels and restaurants for sure throw the stuff, when they can reuse it, what's your wastage percentage and what's an industry average, how we can improve it.
Like it is okay for us to run out of our stuff by 7 p.m. in the evening and have nothing to offer beyond that.
You're okay with that?
We are not okay with it. We are definitely not
Or
okay
that's a
with it
less
because
sinful thing.
we are losing sale over there. But at the same time, we are okay with it if the other way around, we would probably be having a lot of wastages beyond 12 or 11, and we have to kind of carry them forward beyond their shelf life.
So what's the average percentage of wastage in terms
So
of
we are keeping a tight watch on that. If I was to take out a wastage percentage on revenue and costed at their selling price, we generally are somewhere around 3.5%.
explain me this when you use the
So if
term
suppose
revenue
I
costed
have
at-
done a sale of say uh, 10 crores, and the material that I wasted is also calculated at the selling price of that product, not at the cost
Okay,
price of
all
that
right,
product.
fine, fair.
Then it's about 3.5% of that 10 crores is what I have wasted. And if we do it at the cost price, then it's around 1% or something like that. It's about 0.8, 0.9% of wastage is what we are working on.
And you think you're doing very good, or this was
We're
a
doing extremely well.
okay? What
We
is
are
an
doing
industry
very,
average?
very. I have no idea. I don't know. I think it is for everyone to kind of. I mean, they know it for their business that what is the wastage percentage that they are maintaining. But I'm very satisfied with 0.8, 0.9%, because I believe beyond that, uh, it would lead to a situation wherein we would be losing business or disappointing people, causing more damage to footfalls and all, and eventually leading to more wastages.
So let me ask you a question out here. When you calculate this wastage, it's about the wastage done in your production or in your practices, or is it about
No.
wasting where customer is also contributing in the wastage?
Very, I mean, I really like that you have touched upon this. So, wastages are everywhere. This I am only focusing or talking about the products, the saleable products which are wasted. Now, if you talk about, we are wasting a lot of things otherwise. Like there could be a wastage of electricity somewhere, there could be wastage of raw material somewhere, there could be wastage of paper somewhere, there could be wastage of uh, any resource. Those are also measured. But right now, I was only talking about saleable products which go onto the display and eventually do not sell and end up to become wastages.
No, just
Now, if you're talking about wastage at the production level, also, that's something that we try to keep it to negligible.
so that means, if I understand it right, you are ready with certain. So for example, if you can deliver 10 pizzas, right? So that you ensure that it's 10 on 10. But when I order a pizza and I waste half of it, that half of it, does it contribute in that your wastage?
Oh no, not at all. For us, we are so see if you are I mean, how can we measure?
Because you don't control my behavior.
No, but how can I measure wastage uh, of a product which has already been sold by us, because I have no control over it. Secondly, it's none of my business. Let's put it this way. I
True.
mean, my job is done.
Yeah, I
And
totally respect that
and
as a business, but I'm
yeah,
just coming more from a social aspect to it,
even
right?
from the social
No, no,
aspect.
no. I'm not holding
Yeah.
you responsible.
Yeah.
I'm not
No,
holding
I
you.
know, I know you're not
But what I
holding me
want to
responsible.
understand is what I want to come to the question is that what is it that you want to preach to
So
customers
I
like
don't
us?
know what better you can do, because obviously you can just order wisely, you can consume it all, or you can distribute it, or you can share it. But I know what I can do. What I can do is I can keep a check on consumer behavior. So if I can make a cake which is 400 grams and don't force you to buy a 1 kg
Yeah,
cake
you did that with
just because that makes more business sense for me. Like
true.
I am sitting in a position where I can actually force you to buy a 1 kg cake for Mother's Day just because it will make more money for me. That is what we where we come in, and we can help and contribute, and that's what we do.
When do you consider a dish to be consumed, to be thrown, and not to be utilized or not to be taken back to the kitchen?
So all of us are very conscious about, and in fact, post COVID, there has been a lot of. I mean, none of us, we want to kind of indulge into anything going onto the table and coming back. So that whole cautiousness has been there, and like we give, most of the things are given in single portions, and then replenishments are done. But I haven't come across any of those situations wherein a dish half eaten has come back to us, or probably something untouched. Like what you mentioned is very correct. Like, for example, if I'm giving you a portion of hummus along with your shawarma wrap, and you don't want to consume
Yeah,
hummus, you return it back. It's gone onto your table in a portion, and you've returned that whole
correct.
portion.
I've not even touched the food. I've not taken a bite or anything, right?
I It would not really be going into the bin. It will definitely be going back to the pantry. And if it's genuinely untouched, I'm sure it would get absorbed back into the system and would probably land up on another table because it's genuinely untouched. Yeah.
And untouched means literally untouched.
We have to investigate that, and we need to be sure about that.
Okay.
If there is even 1% of doubt in that, then the benefit is given to the doubt, and it's something which is dumped.
It's very important for any organization in its success journey of the right kind of employees and form a team,
Yeah.
right? I want to understand your selection criteria. What do you look for in people while hiring people? Because everybody may not be as energetic, emotional, and passionate about Theos the way you are. It's not. It's your dream. It's not everybody's dream. It could be livelihood for somebody.
I like to interview people personally. So we do have a process, we have an HR process, and people do go through the process. But eventually, I like that I meet everybody who's joining Theos, be it in any department, be it in any role. I like to sit with that person and meet that person. To be able to understand whether he's coming on board, and whether we are going in the same direction where he wants to go. One. Second, will he be able to add value to all the rest of the team members who are working currently, or are already on board? Or will he work in a different direction altogether? So we all are already walking towards our vision, and this one new person is coming, and if he is also, it's like I am driving the bus. There are a lot of passengers. Everybody is going to one destination. We stop at a bus stop and people come up. So only those people can stay who have to go to the same destination where we want to go. Rest of them are okay to kind of step down. We don't force anybody to change their mind and kind of come on board just because we want more passengers to come in, more business for us. And at the same time, we don't really, and similarly, while we are on this route, some people get down early and some stay on because they want to go far with us. So it's pretty much like that. I mean, to just to put it in a simple way.
Well, that's not a simple way, and I'm
And
gonna.
I don't really, I'm not the only one who selects. I always in my interviews, if you come and interview with me and you will sit with me, trust me, I will put you at a higher pedestal than Theos, because you are coming to join us. You know, I have to make you comfortable. I I have to value you. If I am not able to value you, how is it that I am able to get you on board and make you excited to join us? I don't have to, make Theos sound like, oh, you are joining, which company you are joining, and what we are, who we are. We don't talk about ourselves at all. We only talk about you in your interview. I only talk about your aim, your ambition. What do you want to do? How can we help you reach there? So it's a very different interview with me. It's not an interview about what is it that you are bringing onto the table.
Allow me to attend it someday along with you, just as
Yeah.
a mock.
So it's not only about what is it that you are bringing onto the table. It's also about what is it that you are bringing onto the table, and in return, what is it that we can offer you. And most of the times now what happens is that it may sound very nice but impractical in some ways, but sometimes the person sitting on the other side has a sense of it, sometimes they don't. But then in that way, I play that part on their behalf. So when I reject a candidate, sometimes I reject the candidate because he's not suitable for Theos. And many a times I reject a candidate because Theos is not suitable for them.
I respect the depth of the answer, but I'm looking for a quick hack. So tell us that how, some quick hacks. How do you identify whether this employee is made for you and you're made for them?
Okay, so if the role that we are hiring for and he is an expert in the same role, or if he belongs to the same role, it's a tick box. Second, if the kind of value that he is demanding is the right value and is the true value of that role and that position, and we also understand that he deserves that, it's a second tick box. If he is aligned with our working hours, our principles, our way of working, then that's a third tick box. And if I feel that this person will fit into the team without having too much of a problem with other team members and all, then it's another tick box which are there. And similarly, there are many such checkpoints which are there, and not everybody gets 100 on 100, and we don't expect that also. You may get a 80 on 100 or a 85 on 100, but the rest 15 are some areas where we can work together or can be modified.
So somebody who scored 98% is good with 80% marks.
Because I'm not scoring myself, I'm scoring the other person over here, and at the same time we do have to hire also. So it's kind of we can't just reject everybody. There has to be a line, and we need to accept people with their shortcomings, and then as long as these shortcomings can be worked upon. If I see a stubborn streak, or if I see that oh, someone is like rock solid and is not will not move, then no matter, even if he's excellent at what he's doing, I know one thing for sure, that the team will not be able to work with this kind of a person, and then at the end of the day things won't work. So at Theos we do provide company accommodation also. So we have company accommodation for our employees, and a lot of our employees, they stay in company accommodation.
Fantastic conversation I've had till now. But just to wrap it up, and this is something very, very important, that not that the others were not, but if you if you had to start Theos all over again, tell me what you did terribly wrong that you would want to correct this time. And also, as an extension to this question, if somebody wants to build something like this again, what are the tips you would want to give it to them from a financial, human, product, whatever comes into your mind to have the success what you have had?
If I was to start Theos all over again, I think, to be very honest, I don't think so that there is anything that I kind of regret that I could have done better. Everything that has happened for Theos so far, and everything that is happening even now is kind of important. It's something which has given or contributed in some way to where we are today. So I would want to keep it intact that way. Now, coming to if I was to give an advice or if I was to do another business other than
Yeah,
Theos
it could be any.
now,
Yeah.
or would want to do maybe something which is, uh, you know, a better business, all I would want to do is I would want to go a little lighter. So Theos is a very heavy model. It's very heavy. At a human level also, it's very demanding. It's very consuming. It's too difficult to maintain. So I definitely know how to make a lighter version of this business and become more profitable that way. So the lighter you go, the higher you fly, is something that I know the hack for. And I think anybody, if I was to give an advice to someone starting afresh or starting new, I would say go lighter.
And what was the most important quality for an entrepreneur among all the hustle and pressure that you go through? What is that keeps you going?
I think the most important quality for any entrepreneur is number one to be, you know, very, very confident about your product or your business. Secondly, your product and your business should be very well researched. You shouldn't be stubborn, but at the same time, you should not live in self doubt. You should not look for external validation. Uh, Determination, hard work, and dedication is extremely important. Resilience is very, very important. Uh, Having that kind of courage to stand opposite 100 people who would come up with a different opinion, and driving those same 100 people with you and making them also realize their visions alongside, and being okay with sharing your success or the fruits of your success with everybody without thinking that okay, these are the people who never really were with me, I got them with me. So that whole understanding that you have and the kind of depth that you work with, these are few qualities which I think as an entrepreneur, and I think nobody should enter into entrepreneurship if you cannot sacrifice. I mean, sacrifice is something which, if you don't have that quality in you, that you can happily sacrifice without crying over, or without sulking over a lot of things that you had to sacrifice, you should not become an entrepreneur, according to me. So entrepreneurship is also very similar to parenting. You do everything for your children, you give them the best that you can, you give them all of yourself, but you don't, if they tomorrow become a success, you're very happy. If they are a failure, you hold yourself responsible. But if they become a success and they don't return that back to you, you still don't mind it.
Beautifully put it.
It's like
I
that
mean,
that
this
kind of
is
a thing.
this
Yeah.
is the last line. The
Yeah.
rest of them were as typical you depth lines,
Yeah.
but last one really summarized it well and very very relatable. But Gaurav, you've answered all the questions in a very very detailed manner and with a lot of depth. And thanks for all this time. But I'm going to make the last one really tough for you. This time you don't have a choice of
Okay.
going in depth. I'm going to
Okay.
ask you questions, and this is a quick rapid fire,
Okay.
and you will not think about it beyond. Um, how do I say? The answer time should be less than the punching time of the order.
Okay.
All
I'll
right?
try. I'll
You,
try.
you, you
I'll
game for
try.
it?
I'm game for it.
Okay. Let's go with the question. I need to refer to this. What's more stressful, angry customers or a melted ganache?
Angry
You
customer.
can't take so long.
Angry
You can't
customer.
take so long.
Angry customer.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
Have you ever pretended to be a customer just to check service?
At my own store? They all know me, so I'll be caught.
One food scene that should be illegal: chocolate pizza or gulab jamun and pasta.
Gulab jamun in pasta?
Yeah.
100% gulab jamun in
It should be
pasta.
illegal?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What's sexier, perfect frosting or a clean balance sheet?
Clean balance sheet.
Let me be very clear on
No,
that.
you being very quick with your question before I could, kind of
Now
understand.
you realize that how fast you punch orders in your restaurant.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Would you rather eat only salad for a year or sell discount coupons at Theos?
Salads are fine with me.
Fair as a founder, running out of whipped cream or internet going during Zomato rush hour.
Second one, of course.
Okay.
I know how to deal with the first one. The second one, I don't know how to deal with.
Great. One answer that you got really right. Favorite flavor and dish.
Favorite flavor as on date, currently I am high on matcha. And if you talk about favorite dish, by all means, my favorite dish either belongs onto the Thai food section or the Italian section. So I love great pizza and I love Thai curry and rice.
Okay. So who cooks at home?
I.
You cook at home. All right.
But not all the time.
Okay. And the last one. What is that one dish that you would not recommend anyone to have at Theos?
One dish that I would not recommend anybody to have at Theo's. Yes, I do have a pick over here. We have a veg Chinese roll. I hope people stop buying that product and I have the opportunity to take that off the menu. Every time I look at the sales, that product sells the maximum, but I personally don't like it.
Wow, and my sister loves it.
I'm sure there are many people who love it. I don't know why is it, what came to my mind, what was I kind of uh, doping on in terms of, when I created that kind of product. But I personally don't really like it much, but it's a crowd favorite.
Well,
Yeah.
Gaurav, thanks a lot. Let me assure you that this was the first time that you did a horrible job in terms of messing up the
I
entire
don't think
rapid
so.
fire.
I don't
You
agree
really
with.
thought about it a lot.
I don't
The
agree
rest,
with you at all on
the
this.
rest, you've been consistently good over the years that I've
No,
seen
I
you.
have not been diplomatic. I have not been. I don't know if time, how are we measuring that? There was no buzzer or there was no time which was being calculated.
Oh,
So,
I should have framed it in a better manner that,
yeah,
because you can punch the orders at the speed you want. So you
yeah,
win over there and I
yeah,
lose again.
yeah.
Not a
Okay.
problem. But uh, this has been wonderful conversation because you were talking about bakery or you were talking about products, but at least I was relating a lot to any business.
Yeah.
This was so educative, and I have to admit the amount of thought clarity uh, that you bring it to the table is simply amazing that I've experienced all my life. I have to admit that. Thanks a lot for this, and just for the audience, I want to tell you a bit about what Gaurav has built it. It's just not a culinary place or a pastry shop, patisserie shop, right? It's an institution in itself which he has envisioned. They're going on a market expansion. They should be touching close to 100 crores of revenue by the end of this fiscal. They have recently come up with a big production place. They plan to now serve other vendors also through their products, through their facilities. A business that is purely built on ethics, something that Gaurav prides with, that he has not bribed anybody, not something very common in India. So it's not about just a simple business, it's about building up an educational or an ethical institution. Thanks a lot for all this that you spent the time in building up this and for coming on the podcast. And those who like it, please subscribe and like, and Gaurav, over to you.
Thank you so much. The pleasure was all mine. And what I really liked is that nothing in our podcast was scripted. I did not know the questions in advance. And I
Absolutely.
think everything was very organic and natural. And I loved chatting with you.
Thank you, Gaurav. Thank you
Wish you
so
all the
much.
best.
I will treat you with a good cold coffee now in your restaurant. All right.
Let's do that.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.